I got no problem with this one.
Matt has no problem with
No
this.
problem. So first off, you have to understand why we laughed when we came back, because I said, hey, introduce me, so I don't introduce myself. And he goes, and then we came back and he goes, hey, this is Matt.
It's Matt.
All right.
No.
So I get a lot of questions on replacing Sky. So my code of ethics is definitely no problem on replacing Sky. I will change, replace, or do anything to a photo that I think makes it look better. So one of the first things, before we even get into the Photoshop and Lightroom part of this, is I had somebody today, in fact, because I posted that I was going to do this tutorial, and I had somebody today mention, they said, oh, I just went and shot somewhere, and the skies were all gray and cloudy and yucky, and I want to make them look good. So the first thing that I can tell you is, the secret to replacing a sky, one sky with another sky, is it kind of has to be the same light.
Yeah, you can't take a really super vibrant, bright, sunny day sky and drop it onto like a
super cloudy, yucky
yeah.
day sky.
It's got to look consistent.
Yeah, because one of the problems is the color has to match. And when you have that cloudy, overcast, gray, yucky day, you're not going to have any of those warm, colorful colors in the photo that vibrant sky. So that's the first thing. So take a look at this photo. This was taken out at Macway Falls out in California. And I was hoping to get some nice, beautiful clouds in the sky, and it just didn't happen.
That happens a lot
Yeah.
on the coast of California.
It's either that or it's
fog. Unbelievable thick fog.
Or wait, in California they call it the marine layer.
The marine layer.
The rest of the world calls it fog.
Yeah, everybody else calls it fog.
Okay, so here's a sky that I took at a beach just about 20 minutes from here. So opposite ends of the country. But take a look at one key thing here. See where the sun is kind of going down over here? See where the sun's kind of go down over here?
Yeah, the tonality is very similar.
That is the key to replacing skies, is you have to kind of put the sun where it was, and it has to be relatively the same time.
Because the Photoshop parts of this aren't so hard if you've got the right images.
Yeah, not at all. And you can see they're still golden color, the sun's still up. I wouldn't want to put one where the sun was down into this photo. So let's do this. You could, if you weren't using Lightroom, you could easily just open both of these in Photoshop. If you are using Lightroom, you'd select both of them, come up here to the photo menu, just go down to Edit In, and choose Open as Layers in Photoshop. And what it's going to do is it's going to take both of these photos and stack them and open them as layers inside of Photoshop, just like it says. Actually puts them on top of each other. So what I'm going to do is just swap so that the sky goes on top. And then let's just hide that for a second. So now we got to make a selection, because we got to tell Photoshop where we want the new sky to go. So I take my quick selection tool and kind of just make sure you click on that layer first. Take your quick selection tool and just kind of drag across the sky. If you're lucky, you won't have all these trees and details to worry about. If you're not lucky, you're going to have to do what we have to do here, which is just go to Refine Edge at the top. This is like the secret to make every selection better. Go to Refine Edge, and all I do is there's a little brush over here. All I do, you don't even have to see, just paint over the edges. All right? And when you let go, Photoshop takes care of everything. It does. It is the best. It's the best selection technology that's out there, I think. And then what we're going to do here is, because we're going to have a pretty harsh edge, I just crank the radius up. I usually do about 10 pixels or so. And what you'll see, that kind of spreads everything out. You could probably even go a little bit higher.
Do you use the Smart Radius checkbox or just the radius slider?
I mostly just use the radius slider. The Smart Radius will tend to work like with hair a little bit better, but we don't really have hair in this, so nothing to worry about. Not yet. All right. So then down at the bottom, so we got our selection, everything looks good. Down at the bottom, we want to output this to a selection, so I just click OK. So now I got my selection. I'll turn the top layer back on. And now we just need to hide everything. The way you do that is you just click your layer mask button. The best way to kind of know what the layer mask button is whatever's selected stays. Whatever's not selected goes, whatever's selected in the image stays. So when I click on it, now we see the sky. All right, next thing. If I just move this around, it's going to move everything because it's linked to the layer mask. So we just turn that off.
Unlink.
Unlink it, go into free transform. And now I can start to maybe, you can see I'm missing a little bit of an edge there. And then I can drag that up. And here's where it comes in.
Oh, that looks better.
So now I'm getting, because that would, our big sky was in, if you look at the original, we didn't need all that. We just want the bottom here. But look, there's the sun. We had that bright orange area in the first photo, so just hit enter or return. And you can see here, drop it in. You can always reduce the opacity, and that'll kind of help blend it in. But if you're lucky, it fits good from here. If you're not lucky, there's one last little step, and that is, if you look over here, see all those little fringes? So if you get detail, if you have a lot of detail, if you have a lot of trees and a lot of detail, there's one little trick that you can do. I use this in my portrait compositing book on hair, and it works the same here. So what we need to do is we need to kind of get rid of the fringes. The easiest way is we're going to make a selection just by command or control clicking onto that layer mask, and that puts a selection around it all. And then we're just going to press command or control J and hide the original. So what that did is it got rid of the layer mask, and it took just the portion that we want and put it onto its own layer. And then the last thing here is we want to get rid of that fringe, so double click. Check this out. This is where I kind of stumbled on this years ago, and it's been my go-to technique for fringes, is click on outer glow, all right, and just change it to multiply. Click on that little color swatch and just click on the color. See that?
Beauty.
So turn the preview off. That's before.
Harsh.
That's after.
Fills in the blanks.
Before, after. So it gets rid of that whole fringe, and you don't have to go in there and painstakingly paint every little inch and pixel out of it. So
Well done.
thank you, thank you. So first key is it's got to kind of match the light. Once you get into the Photoshop part of it, it's actually a little bit easier. I think the hardest part is getting the right photo and the right sky to match each other.
Yeah, it makes all the difference in the world.
All right, next up.
Guru.
Yeah.